Follow this 12-week plan and you'll swim 1.9K non-stop starting from the scratch. So 1.9K non-stop. You've got the half Ironman on your calendar, or you're seriously thinking about one. That number probably feels a bit doubting right now. Maybe a lot doubting. Now here is what I want you to tell you straight away. It's not a fitness problem, almost never is. It's actually a structure problem. Now in this video, I'm going to give you a complete 12-week plan so you can get there. Same system I use in my Ocean Swims community, which you can find the link down below. We're going to take it from here step by step with no rushing. Hi, I'm Alex Coci. I'm an Olympic swimmer. Now I coach adults, triathletes mostly, self-taught swimmers as well, people who can get through a pool session but maybe have a race in their calendar, and that's making them quietly nervous about the swim leg. So before the plan, I want to explain something quickly, because most distance plans just hand you over the schedule. On the week 1, you do this. On the week 6, you do that. You follow it blindly. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't work. And you have no idea either way. So this plan is actually different. There is a system underneath, and 2 to 3 minutes I'm going to explain you this system. Then, because once you understand it, the whole thing makes more sense, and you stop second guessing yourself mid-plan. So here it goes. So every distance goal, 1 kilometer, 1.9, 3.8, and so on, runs on these 3 numbers. Now here you're going to find this before you swim even a single meter or yards of distance works. Everything else just follows. So in this video I'm going to refer as meters, but you can use it the same idea on yards as well. So number 1 is your starting block. Basically is the distance that you can swim with controlled breathing and consistent technique. And here you're gonna try to repeat this 8 to 10 times with short rest in between each, not to the furthest that you can swim with one go. So the distance you can swim over and over without things falling apart. So if you're currently swimming 400 to 600 meters comfortably, that means that your starting block is probably around 100 meters. And this is what this plan assumes. Now here is the test. You do a warm-up for 5 minutes, then you swim 100 meters at comfortable pace. Not easy, not hard either, but should be comfortable. Rest about 20 seconds. Repeat this 8 times. So if all 8 are completed with consistent breathing and you feel like you could actually do more and keep going, that means that your starting block is somewhere around 100 meters. Now if you're struggling by rep 5 or 6, that means you have to drop it to 75. And if you barely notice any kind of effort, then maybe you should test either 125 or 150. Number 2 is your sustainable pace. The speed where the effort and efficiency actually balance out. Not the fastest, but not the easiest either. So the pace that you could hold much longer than your goal distance. So a simple test might be, you swim 100 meters, then immediately say this out loud. I could keep swimming at this pace for a long time. If you say it clearly without gasping, that means you found your sustainable pace. Getting out 2 or 3 words between the breaths, that means you went too fast. You need to slow down. So basically for 1.9 kilometers, this actually matters most than anything else. Going out too hard and you'll be fighting with the water by 600 meters. So make sure that you start with a sustainable pace and you'll finish strong. And also the idea is that you have something left for the bike and obviously after that for the run. Number 3 is your active rest. Not a full recovery, just enough to catch your breath without fully resting. So heart rate stays elevated. You're ready, but you're not fresh. So most swimmers at this level, somewhere between 15 to 25 seconds. And how do we test it? So swim 6 intervals of your starting block from the test number 1 that you actually did. So start 20 seconds rest, then fully recover before each one. If it's too long, that means you're gasping and you're dreading the next one. If it's too short, then you need to find the point where you feel ready, but you're not fresh. So these 3 numbers are actually the foundation of this whole system. So the 12-week plan actually builds them with conservative estimates. This is built basically for the average person making a steady progress. So if you want specific numbers found properly with actual starting block tested and your progression a bit more personalized from the session 1, then that's why I have the Ocean Swim School community, which you can find the link down below. But I will explain this a bit more by the end. Right, now let's get into the 12-week system. So we have 4 phases. Phase 1 is volume accumulation, weeks 1 and 2. Phase 2 is the block extension. So we're going to work on the week 3 through week 7. Phase 3 is the rest reduction, week 8 to 10. And phase 4 is the distance completion, weeks 11 to weeks 12. Each phase builds directly on the last. So if you skip ahead, the whole thing will just fall apart. So only progress after minimum of 2 successful sessions at each level. And not because the calendar says so, but because you actually earned it. Right, now let's talk about the phase 1. So weeks 1 to 2 is not about the distance. It's about getting comfortable in the water with your starting block. So 3 sessions a week. Each session you warm up for about 300 meters. The main set should be 100 meters with 20 seconds rest, and the cool down somewhere around 200 meters. So total main set should be the 1500 meters. Sustainable pace the whole time. If you're breathing hard, that means you need to slow down. I know that 15-100 sounds like a lot when your current comfortable distance is maybe, 400, 500 meters. But here is what I tell every single swimmer who actually panics at this step. You're not actually swimming 1500 meters. Yes, kinda. But you're actually swimming 100 meters 15 times. So this is a completely different thing psychologically. And physically, the short rest actually keeps you in that endurance building state the whole time without ever pushing past your limit. So I had this guy in London, he signed up for a half Ironman and then came to me maxing out 500 meters in one session. So first time with me, we did 100 meters and he looked at me like I was setting him up to fail. Of course, that didn't happen. He finished the session and he looked at me and he said, "Oh, that was actually fine." And I was like, yeah, that's exactly the point. So how do you know if you're ready for the phase 2? There are 2 signals. The workout feels moderate instead of hard, and you finish like you could do maybe 4 or 5 more intervals on top of that. Both signals, minimum, like I said, 2 sessions in a row, and then you can move on. Alright, so week 1 and week 2 are sorted. Now let's move on into the phase number 2, which is the longest phase and most important one in this part. So phase 2, weeks 3 to week 7. These are 5 weeks, and this is where the real building actually happens. And the rule is only change one variable at a time. So the block size goes up, rest stays the same. Never both together. So the total volume stays roughly the same each week, and you're not adding more distance, but you're actually restructuring it into bigger pieces. So on the week 3, we're going to do 10 150 meters with 20 seconds rest. The main set is 1500. On the week 4, we're doing 8 times 200 meters with 20 seconds rest. Main set is 1600. Week 5, we do 6 times 300 meters with 20 seconds rest. So the main set is 1800. Now, week 5 is where I would normally build that consolidation session. So don't rush through the week 6. If those 300 meters blocks feels hard, then you need to repeat the week 6. So 2 successful sessions before moving on. Always. Week 6, we're doing 5 times 400 meters with 20 seconds rest. So the main set here is 2000 meters. Here, you're not swimming above your goal distance in the main set. You're just doing it in pieces, but the volume is there. So on the week 7, we do 4 times 500 meters with 20 seconds rest. So the main set here is 2000 meters, 500 meters at a time. So basically, quarter of your goal distance per each interval. Something shifts in this phase, usually around week 4 or week 5. So the stroke starts feeling connected rather than desperate. The water stops feeling like something that you're fighting, and it actually starts feeling like something you're working with. And I've seen this loads amount of times, and you're also going to see when this thing happens. So we have 7 weeks in, swimming 500 meters blocks with 20 seconds rest. Phase 3 is where those blocks actually start feeling continuous. Now let's talk about the phase 3, week 8 through 10. So block size stays the same. Now we need to reduce the rest. So 5 seconds at a time. So on the week 8, we're doing 4 times 500 meters with 15 seconds rest. Week 9, we're doing 4 times 500 meters with 10 seconds rest. Week 10, we're doing 650 meters with 10 seconds rest. So the main set is 1950 meters. So the blocks are getting longer, the rest is staying at the minimum. With 10 seconds rest, now this 10 seconds rest might be too short for you, and these are just an example. Basically, you're cutting 5 seconds at a time each time you're building into a new block. So yours might look, instead of 10 seconds rest, might look like a 30 seconds. Maybe you drop it from 45 seconds all the way to 35 or to 30 seconds or to 20 seconds. The idea stays the same, the time is different from a person to person. I wouldn't go anywhere beyond 45 seconds or to a minute tops in between those, I don't know, 4 times 500 meters, right? More than a minute, I think is way too long. So with this 10 seconds rest, starting on the next interval, we'll start feeling like starting actually fresh. So basically that starts feeling like a continuous 2000 meters or 1950 in this case. So basically that's exactly the signal you're actually looking for. That's exactly what a continuous swimming will feel like. And here you're building it deliberately and not hoping that it will appear in the race days. Oh, now I can swim 2000 meters, but I haven't swum in previously in the session, because it doesn't work like that. So even though there's only 10 seconds or 20 seconds or 30 seconds, like I said, it will feel like it's just a continuation whenever you're starting the next 500 and so on. And in this case, we need to check technique for the entire phase. So at 200 or 250 meter mark, you need to do a quick scan. So hips are up, head is in the neutral, stroke length it's holding, and anything else. Not just at the start whenever you're actually fresh, and then you forget about it for the duration of the remaining distance that you have. And not at the end whenever you're actually that tired. But every 200 or 250, you can actually have some sort of like a quick check. And that's how you know if things are starting drifting, if you're actually going to drift. Now question, are you ready for the phase 4? We have 12 weeks in, long blocks, minimal rest, and phase 4 is just the connecting everything together. Now let's talk about the phase 4. 2 weeks, and that's it. Week 11, session 1, we do 2 times 950 meters with only 10 seconds or 20 or 30 or whatever. That's 1900 meters with 1 single break. 2 sessions, the same. You're basically trying to get comfortable with that 1 short break structure. On the week 12, you do 1 time 1.9K, non-stop. Now here is what I want you to say about your final swing. If you actually followed the phase 1 through phase 3 properly, this should not feel like a breakthrough moment. It's basically just a confirmation that your body already knows how to do this. You build it deliberately until this point, 1 variable at a time, then continue swim is just a proof that you're already there. Now a few things for the attempt. If you swim in a 25 meters, maybe best is not to count every single length, but maybe count the 50s or the 100s. The idea is that it destroys your pacing and your mental state whenever you're actually trying to count every 25 and actually at some point you lose counting. So if it's easy for you to at least count per 50 meters, per 100 meters would be ideal. Now that means you can focus on your swim, on your breathing, check your stroke every few 100 meters. So basically how it feels, like I said, and that's all. Go slightly slower in the first 400 meters that you actually think you need to. And for triathletes, make sure that you practice sighting on the final 2 weeks, every 6 strokes or so. Eyes above the waterline, you know the drill. That's simple and will save you lots of extra meters on the race day where you're not going to have the black line to actually follow in a straight path. So we have 4 phases, 12 weeks. If done properly, this is what is going to change. So you're going to be able to swim 1.9 kilometers without stopping. The half Ironman goes from a thing that probably you're quietly dreading to a thing that you're most confident about on the race morning. And that's not a small shift. You basically develop a sustainable pace that actually you can hold. And most triathletes blow this up in the first 400 meters because they go out with a pack, on adrenaline, on a rush, they're getting excited, and so on. Now, after this plan, you will know exactly what that pace will feel like, and you'll be able to hold while everyone around you either they go for it or they fade away slowly. Your stroke will get cleaner just from the volume. So consistent swimming at this level does things that technique drills alone don't. You're most probably gonna start feeling inefficiency before you actually can see it. So the swimmers who actually finish strong are the ones who build their distance properly, and this is where you're going to head as well. Now, the 12-week plan that I just gave you works, but is built for the average person with an estimate numbers. So inside my Ocean Swim School, the distance builder course, so swim any distance, runs the same 4 phases, but it actually starts by finding your actual number in the session 1, your real starting block from a proper test, your actual sustainable pace, your minimum active rest, and once those are more personalized, the same progression compresses into 6 to 8 weeks instead of 12 of this video. So same system, but your actual numbers instead of a conservative estimate. And that's the difference. So the full course also has a full triathlon module, open water realities, race day pacing, wetsuit strategies, and how to manage your energy specifically to what comes after the swim. So things I didn't cover here because the video would actually take 2 to 3 hours long. So free tier gets you the community access and some resources. Worth starting there. So premium is actually $39 a month, but depends when you're watching this video, it might be different. So that's the distance builder course or swim any distance. Plus, you have a video analysis into the premium where I watch your actual swimming, find those numbers for you, and tell you specifically what to fix. Now check out my link down below if you want to speed up the process. Drop a comment if you're actually going to do a half Ironman or any other race this year. Tell me how far your race is, because I try to read every comment and I'm trying to help as many people as possible. Like and subscribe if this thing has helped you in any way. New content every week, ring the bell, you know the drill. And if you haven't watched my 1K video, please watch them next. Same system, shorter distances, good place to start if you swim 1.9 kilometers because it still feels like a stretch right now. So that's it for now. See you in the pool.